Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. The sign is blue. The guy on the bench on the operating table today is blue. It's a little bit of Fab Lab. It's a little bit of, it's all content. It is, I don't know about y'all's favorite, but certainly one of my favorites. It is the big, bad blue bruiser. It is Bruce. Bruce has had a little bit of tumbles. The two little micro tabs that basically mount the front of the body are snapped off. They're still bolted to the chassis. Luckily, the front bumper is still solid. His shocks need all pulled and cleaned and refilled. I need to take a look inside the tires. The amount of bag around the insert, like the tire, it feels like the silicones have somehow shrunk. I don't exactly know how we're going to address that. We'll figure that out when we get to it. The Fab Lab portion of it is, this is his rear bumper, which is the stock bumper, which has had a bunch of stuff cut off of it in order to incorporate the half of the trailer bracket. This is the other half. So someone had linked to it on Amazon, and I finally ordered it. And here it is, like very improperly assembled, like they assembled it with the ladder pointing out. It is not to scale. We might. There is a potential that we will reuse parts of this. We're almost certainly not going to use the actual bumper part. We can fit this bumper, will fit something else. We will fit this to something else. I think it's supposed to be for like a D90, so probably for an RC four-wheel drive. It's basic, it's too small. It's too small. It doesn't go side to side. But we've got this. I feel like this is probably big enough. 6061. Looks like 1/4 inch, 6.35 millimeter. Am I close? Yes. By more than long enough. I will attempt to replicate this shape somewhat. This is a little bit thicker. This is probably 7 millimeter. Let's go all the way into the realm of precision. This is 8 millimeter, and this is 6.35, 1/4 inch. I'll hit the bin again and see if I have anything a little thicker, but I don't think that I do. I would like to make the bumper actually a little taller vertically, much like we made the front bumper taller vertically. I think it goes with his scale. His whole body needs to be removed. There might be more than one broken screw inside of there. So we've got to pull the body, the wheels, the shocks. Luckily for us, oh, and I will be recreating this little guy and this little guy, but just out of a piece of this giant 1/4 inch angle, because that's definitely going to get us the amount of drop we need. I'll end up zipping a piece off of this and then using about 25% of what we have remaining. And the whole reason behind that is MKRC Builds was kind enough to send in. We have multiple mounting options. We've got a single, double, and I kind of like this one. If we can get this one to incorporate, this would probably be my guy. And then we've got the sweet diesel tanks. These with the font on one side, on both sides. This one on one. We're gonna be putting a double tank, and I've been looking at it. I was like, I mean, maybe that's not bad. If I had a spare, if I had a tire around, at least a 4 3/4 tire that I didn't mind slapping on here. The other side of this is a spare tire mount. It is not well made. I would like to be able to use the pivoty part, because if we can use the pivoty part, it already has holes in it. I can adapt some brackets. So if the choice is between a ladder and a spare tire, or a spare tire and the fuel tanks, I'm going to take the fuel tank. That is the goal for today. I don't think that the bumper is going to be Yeah, it's nice and straight. And if we have it mounted like this, we'll have to figure out some mechanism for basically a quick release on the one side. It may be as simple as line this up, drill straight through this, down through the size of the bumper, drill straight down through like that, and then make a pin that is like long, so that it's basically impossible for it to fall out. That's one option. This piece could, you know, in a perfect world be a little bit longer, but we have it. We'll have to put in a mechanism in this when we get the piece cut to at least get the LEDs in for the taillights. I don't have any extra taillight lenses. Or maybe I do. I will have to dig through the bins as well. I mean, obviously, the first thought would be drill 5mm holes in this so that the LEDs just poke out the holes. Those are white LEDs in red housings. I might have red LEDs in here and could just go to red LEDs. We won't be reusing this bumper though, so if I can extricate the lenses and just glue them on to this bumper, I would not be opposed to that at all. So he's going to get a little bit of a spa day. He is fresh. Oh, his first duffel bag is full of body clips. So that's what he carries in that duffel bag. And then his snap-on case is, of course, as one would expect, it is the batteries. There's a spare GoPro and a spare one for the ASV100. His on the most recent episode, on the most recent outing, all recording apparatus overheated, all of it. So that was nice. That was nice. Somewhere around here, I have a trim tool, and I don't think that this is the exact trim tool that I'm thinking of. This one's got the other one is just curved on the end, fits in the palm better, but it will do because I still remember when I put these wheels on for the first time. I was like, boy, I hope that the little hub covers don't go missing on the trail. You have no worries of that. Once these are tightened down, they are on there. He has not had a wheel removed in some not insignificant amount of time. Popped right off. But I mean, like, the amount of weight, it's loose, both sides, and we need to. Oh, he didn't lose it. So that spun all the way around. We thought we had lost it out on the trail because he had sheared off the mount for the front one, getting it pinned in between rocks. The other one is also broken in the front, so we might as well take that opportunity to pop that off. There are some things that are not trail rated, and them's is definitely one of those things. Trepidor's in excellent shape. We are just starting to see feather on the front of that lug after certainly 25 miles. Ooh, front? No, that's not going anywhere. I was like, the front doesn't feel quite as loose. There we go. So he is getting a much needed. Okay, we need to something. Yeah, should be like that. That's a lot. That's a lot of play in there. I should have the small whiteboard out building the checklist for how we're holding together. No, tires look great. Insert is allowed, question mark. Still getting the Little sea greens off. They're pretty dried out by now. He looks okay. Okay, we've got leaf collapsage in the back. So we're going to have to unbolt the full member and see what we can do about that, because where the first helper hits, the leaf is basically creased. They're starting to flip over. The front looks, it's kind of starting to suffer the same thing. We need another leaf in the stack. I'll dig through the bin, but that is not a thing that I think I have. I think the next leaf I have is the exact same length as that one. I don't know specifically what we're going to do about that. That was a question mark that I didn't know we would have today. It looks like the rest of the mounts are still... That's a bit of a problem. And I don't think it's wheel lug. I think that's whole knuckle. This is desperately overdue service. Okay, let's see if we've still got... Yeah. That is all knuckler wobble. We will do our very best to address that. We were joking out on the trails who's going to bring home the most foxtails, and I think Bruce is running away with it. He's full on the inside. His engine bay is full. He's got his front fenders in a box, but to get front fenders in the box, we're going to have to relocate this. And I think there is enough room between the servo and the end bell of the motor to just drop that right in between the two. So this is going to be in-depth, potentially broken into pieces, because we need to build a bumper, meaning we need to remove that one. And, well, we don't actually, but we do. We do, but we don't. We also do. Luckily, we've obtained enough parts, because our plan, when we went to build Nigel, our plan was just to order the pieces we didn't have, put together a second platform, and then we entered the tariff times. And it was cheaper to just, well, it was more cost efficient to just order a whole FJ40, and which left us with many spare parts. So we know what size and what spacing we have on these. We will have to fabricate these parts, probably out of Delrin, because I don't really want to run 8mm wide strips of aluminum. I mean, I wish I had 8mm aluminum. Will I dig the bins? Oh, you know I will, because if I have to make a single cut, then we just make a single cut. We also know the correct spacing. Now we're going to adjust that spacing, because the rear bumper as it is now is basically fully tucked, and we want the rear bumper out. We want the rear bumper out a little bit so that we can put pivoty guy on it, so that we can mount the double fuel cell guy on it like that. Ooh, see? We could do double fuel cell on the ladder. Maybe the ladder's not too short. We don't have a little ladder on him. I would not be opposed. If that looks okay, that's going to go on. If we want to run a spare, we've got to go and, like, look at these. Look at those. The legs aren't even remotely the same length. I'm not a welder, and I could do a better job than that. Because, well, that rear leaf situation is, I think, has to be addressed. Look at that crunkle right there. Yeah, when they move, he's real heavy. He needs a helper that is like 80 to 90% the length of the upper link and of the upper leaf. And the only way I can think offhand to do that would be to cut up a main leaf and make a full-length second leaf out of it, and I don't have one of those. The rear doors basically don't stay closed. I mean, the body, we have to do the full pull on the body because that screw is gone. That one is stripped. Oh, we don't need to unbolt those. So then it should just be this one. Excellent condition on that one. Excellent condition on that one. They're still threaded in nicely. Those socket in quite well. Okay, what are we? Oh, okay, lighting module is getting stuck in the front. Today might be the day where we omit the lighting module because I don't care about brake lights coming on for brakes. I don't care about reverse lights because I don't have any of that wired. We've pretty much kind of concluded that we're not going to run the sound module. I don't mind not having the sound module, so mostly what I would like to do is get yes, I understand. I would like to get the receiver box relocated. Okay, so it's rear lights. Get that coming out. And then we've got from the motor, oh, zip ties. Got to cut. You know we be cutting zip ties. Carefully. Carefully. Don't cut too much. Also, when you first boot it up, because of the intermediaries and the power, like the cable from this actually goes into here, and then a jumper comes out and goes into the receiver, you've got to like hammer the and then he goes. So I don't want to say that I've fully concluded that the controller module is not going back in, but honestly, I kind of feel like the controller module is not going back in. The only thing that we really need is the jumper so that the steering wheel turns when the steering turns. Are we free yet? I still feel like I feel a wire pulling. Okay, that's going to be the switch. I thought I had a genius switch mounting position when I mounted it to the front of the box there, and it's not great. Then we've got the main power feed, and I still feel one. It is the servo into the box. Basically, if we can get the or a electronics box mounted to the chassis so that if we want to pull the body, the lighting module is gone. Okay, the lighting module goes because we can eliminate more of this. I want less of this. So we'll only need the one jumper instead of a jumper and a splitter for the servo, because that's just the guy to turn the wheels. All right. Are we clear? Nope, I still feel one thing. Are we clear? And we are finally clear. Yeah, that is far from optimal. The more stuff, oh my goodness. The more. I mean, he's been underwater. Look at those. Yes. This is not great. Shout out AGFRC A75. What is so loose there? Look at that. If you wonder why Bruce wanders all over the place out there, there's your answer. Look at that front leaf stack. He is a heavy boy. Look at that front plate looking authentic. Bruce is looking like the trail man that he is. So we have, whew, boy, do we have our work. I mentioned it on Wheelin' Wednesday. Somewhere, either in between Amazon and here, or in an envelope that I threw away, is the replacement for this antenna, because it's been bent right here at the base so many times that, I mean, I know it's steel, but I don't know how much, I don't honestly know how much life is left in this thing. I do have to remember to take my, well, I mean, this used to say MIP on it, but we definitely got that wedged into something at some point. That thing gets, honestly, that thing gets caught on a lot of stuff. Delivered today. Where? Oh, I think it's in front of the house. I'm checking my Amazon orders, because I'm really, it's been a week. I don't know where that antenna is. I don't know where that antenna is. Does not say delivered. So that rear leaf situation has got to be addressed. Basically, the way I'm looking at it right now, I want to get just, you know me, we got to split this up and make it feel more sane. So I am going to set that right there. We're going to grab this bumper. I just had a thought. I had a lazy thought, like a particularly lazy thought. Here's the thought that I'm having. If we can salvage, oh yeah, this, even if we were going to stick to the rear bumper as it exists now, we would want to replace it with that fresh one. But we're not. We want a new, we want a bumper that fits the way we want it to fit. So this bumper is coming off. Nobody has a problem with that. Now, what I was looking at is the width of the bumper. We'll clean it up a little bit. We'll get the wires pushed out of the way a little bit better. Yeah, those weren't stuck at all. I'm wondering, here is what I'm wondering. Okay, these lenses just look like double tabs. I did not order any lenses when I ordered the replacement bumper. I didn't realize they would be individual pieces. That's on me. I'm thinking, perhaps, maybe, we can pop these out. We can cut the ends off of this bumper. So that has a little fat out, little flare out right there, and then there's like two little inexplicable holes. We can cut this off, probably in there, give us 25, 30 millimeters of space, and then we can cut a big hank out of this to make our center, and then we'll just bolt that on to the end of the bumper like that. See what I'm saying? And then we'll just have the regular light mechanism. Rather than just drilling holes in this, we'll just hybridize the rear bumper. Or we can try. I got bins to dig as well to see. I mean, we've definitely done a little bit of a number on this guy. We had to remove all, I have the little silver guys, but we don't need them because the trailer hits them. The whole chassis is going to need a full cleaning, and seeing as we're going to have to pull the leafs and the shocks, I really want you to get a better look. I should have brought out the, where are they at? I've got some cobalt. Yes. Yes. Straight from the Lowe's. Keep suspension parts in that one. I almost forgot that guy is also the leaf holder, and I need that spacer. I mean, to be fair, they've been underwater multiple times, and I mean, the shocks themselves, you can do a little magic. We don't even need the pledge. I'll be interested to see if there's any diff fluid in these at all. I'm going to top them off with 7,000. CST. They clean up nice. Let's see. Nothing right in there. Nothing. There and there. Yeah. This is not unexpected. Bruce is an absolute workhorse. Now, yeah, I gotta make it one way or the other. Taper's down too thin. I need to dig bins. I need to see what we have in the scale bins in the way of, like, do I have any kind of lenses or anything like that, which would mean that I don't have to use, like, I've got lenses, but I've got clear lenses. Do I have red lenses? And I have plenty of housings. I'm not averse to mounting a housing on the outside of the bumper. I'd be absolutely fine with that as well. This is something that I did not... Oh, yes. While we're building the bumper, we still have the rubber to put some mud flaps on. We will attach those to the back of the bumper. He's getting very nearly as much rear work as he is front work. There you can see the two tabs. That was it. That's it. That's all that held on the front of the body. And as you saw, and then one of the screws had fallen out, so there were 3 M3 screws holding the entirety of that body on. So with those snapped out in the front, we will get some thinner angle. We will grind these off. We'll get angle that goes from there to there. We'll fit it, and we'll just probably super glue it to the back of the grill piece. I think I have another grill piece. It should be fine on this one as well, though. And then we'll blast that thing down there. Probably glue 2 spacers, plastic spacers onto there so that we don't have to worry about those. And most likely, we'll do the drill all the way through mechanism. So we'll drill through the plate, we'll drill up through the aluminum, we'll drill up through everything, and then we'll run long screws from the bottom and lock nuts down from the top, because you don't really need to take the body off that often. Oh, that should just fit. Oh, get the Bruce bin. It's too much, but we're in full service mode at this point. There's the inner fenders, and underneath Nigel's hood, it's basically clean because he has these fitted. So I would love to fit these to Bruce, but as you saw, the battery over here extends into the wheel well. And if we can mount the battery, didn't I just take... If we can get the battery just in like vertical under that, so we might have to build a little tray in our usual tray bending style out of 1/16 inch. We'll probably just bend a U so that the battery sits down in it and it won't be able to fall out because of the hood. So he'll basically have an unrestrained battery. Is it a perfect best case scenario? No. But do I think it will hold the battery in place? Yes. So, after that, the world's longest intro, because I've not done anything yet, we are going to, I'm gonna dig bins, and I'm gonna find what pieces I think I need. The plan is just kind of slowly congealing, coalescing. It's coming together in my mind. The leaf thing, I'm just thinking about the leaves. What do I do about the leaves? I don't know. Do we hybrid the bumper? Maybe. Do we clean everything out vigorously? Will there be much pledge used? Yes. I've got to dig all the way through. I'll find a tire. I'll find a junk tire. I'll dig through the junk bins. I'll get a tire that's approximately this size, and we'll use that as a mock-up to see. I mean, I will probably have to make my own. That is so bad. Like, that center peg is off. We'll get on electronics, reposition in the front. battery reposition. New rear bumper with provision for the LEDs to mount the tanks. 2 across if we go ladder, side by side if we go spare. I don't know, it'll be one or the other. Affix whichever mount we determine is the correct one. Affix those mounts. This would be tighter. I don't know. We will get there when we get there. Fabricate the part for the tow hitch. Honestly, probably not going to occur. I'm going to have to split this one into pieces. Fabricate that part so that we can tow the boat. Front mount with the stiff... Oh my God, there's a lot. The tires... We got to figure out the inserts for the tires. Yeah, this... Guys, this is a lot. We're doing a lot. Bruce getting a full... And then we got the issues with the body. The top of the roof is not seated to the windshield anymore from the tumble. The body is going to have to probably get half pulled apart, which will give us an opportunity to clean up a bit of the wiring, because we're going to omit that wiring module, and I'm going to dig bins, and I am going to find to see if we have the lighting controllers so I can attach it to switches, which means if I'm going to attach it to switches, we're probably going to do a swippy swapperoo, which is we've got a couple rigs here in the fleet that are fitted with RC6s, and they're 2-channel rigs, so they don't need all the switches. So we will probably do a swippy swap, which would not be a problem for anybody else, except Bruce has all of the filming apparatus mounted to his radio. Oh my goodness, I would love to also get to where I can power the winch, which means we need an RC6 for sure on one of the switches. Oh my goodness. And we don't have dig, so I can do the D button, this for cruise, this for... Yes, okay. Bruce is getting an RC6 today, and you know what? We're just going to go all the way in. I have a brand new RC6. We're not even going to swippy. We'll go to the 7-channel. We'll hook it up for telemetry so I can see battery voltage. Oh my goodness. Part 1 of question mark. We will at the very least... Oh my goodness. I swear to you, I don't know. I think the best order is... we're going to build a rear bumper. This episode will continue for about... you're at probably around the midway point of this episode when it is finished. It's going to be a bit of a long one, and then we'll just go right into the next one, and the next one I'll say, see you in the next one, and then we'll do it again. So probably a trilogy of parts of Bruce getting his spa day extreme, because we have repairs, we have maintenance, we've got reconfiguration aplenty, and I would like everything mounted to the chassis so that you can just lift the body off, except for the one, you'll have to unplug one plug because this goes into a splitter to make the steering wheel on the inside turn. That'll be it. No Velcros on the battery would be most welcome. So today we will hope to at least get the bumper fitted. I will have to cut, these are basically, they're like 8 by 7. It's an odd thing. 7.9 by 7.7. Why would you do that? Yeah, 7.9 by 7.7. They're not square. They're slightly off a square. And if you saw how hard I had to pull on that one to get it out of the mount, which is why I think we're probably going to be using Delrin for these rather than aluminum. But that is after we dig the bins. I'm going to dig the bins. I will see you in one brief transition. The trip to the bins, modestly successful. The longest helpers that I've got in any of them, because I don't have a full leaf kit, and I did not Amazon. YouTube keeps auto-filling, like, they have these new, like, because, you know, the Alphabet Incorporated wants more money. They are always auto-filling, like affiliate links, but like storefront stuff. I don't know. I don't know how, I don't explicitly know how YouTube gets the money off of that, but they're always auto-filling these things. And one of them is the leaf kit. So every time I've ordered the leaf kit previously, the very first leaf kit that I ordered did indeed come from Amazon. But every leaf kit since has come from FMS in China. And it takes a good long while to get that. Yeah, nothing is coming up on an Amazon search. So, I did dig into another bin, and these are regular, like, standard, the 120 millimeter. That's two rulers on top of each other. Yeah, the 120 millimeter, like RC four-wheel drive. Now, these are not directly compatible because, you see, FMS went their own way with the hole spacing. But I don't need 3 holes because I made my own leaf mounts in order to twist my axle and give me a better pumpkin angle in the rear. We still have the stock pumpkin angle in the front. And I would like to retain that amount of caster. So we just deal with this. Better to keep this tilted so that you can actually accomplish some amount of departure. So, because we're only using 2 holes in the leaf, if I line this up, if I line the front up with one of these holes, like say if we even line it up in the front, that last hole is still way back there. So we can just drill another hole in this leaf because we had to drill all of these leaves out, leaves, because the FMS stock holes are 2.5 millimeter, and the hardware for these is 3 millimeter, and the hardware that I used on my adapters is 3 millimeter. So in my little drawer, I have got a 4-pack of, I mean, they're basically carbide end mills. These go right through those leaves like they don't exist. They just go. So, we're going to drill these out. We're going to drill 2 new holes, 1 in each. Look at the curve on that bad dog. And we're going to put that bad dog, look at that curve. The current leaves have been pummeled straight. Look at that smiley boy. And we're going to slap that on there with a little bit extra aiming forward. My other thought was, I don't want to break up the team, right? I love the look of these. They do come with internal springs. So, if we need to bolster up the rear, we can put internal springs on it. The other option is, I mean, and why wouldn't we? I do have a pair, just a pair, a solo pair of 80 millimeter Chronics. And if we go from that position to, instead of that hole, the next hole back, that will both add a little bit of spring rate and it won't interfere with the compression. So I would like to stick with these because I love the look of them. And the reason I bought them is the look of them. I knew they were going to leak. They're RC four-wheel drive shocks. They're going to leak. But this thing runs 70 millimeter. And if you make towers, you can fit longer in the front. But look at this thing levitating up here. But no matter what you do, unless you want to cut into the floor and or the frame, you're not running longer in the rear. I'm standing here right now and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, because this uses all of the factory holes, if I go from there to there to there and I build a plate, I can build a plate to run, easily. I can run a plate to easily fit a 90 millimeter shock on the front. To fit a 90 millimeter shock on the rear, though, this is out past the edge of the fender. So we would have to cut into this. Or, do you want to know why things get done at the pace that they get done here? I wouldn't go so far to say as why nothing gets done here, but we do follow the distractionist path. Okay, let me sink that down on there like that. I need it to sit. Yeah, you can see the shock bolts all the way in there. So we're cutting a hole in the floor if you want to run a shock longer than a 70 in the rear. And if we're cutting a hole in the floor, we might as well cut a hole in the floor, you know? Just put a full tower. Cut another hole drill out another hole in the frame, see what we've got. What do we think? We need to add about 20 millimeters. So it's either going to be axial or it's going to be element. So let's say it's a tower like that. I would opt for one that doesn't have a body mount post on it, but we go right like that. How does that line up? Pretty good. Oh, because then if you're picking up, I don't know when I sliced myself open right there, but I did. If you're picking up what I am gently putting down, we can put GTS on him. We can put GTS because we can run GTS either on big spring or small spring. Look how slender they are. I mean, they are they? Are they even bigger than what we've got? They are 11 millimeter OD, and these are 10. 1 more millimeter. But, I mean, you can see. It's 20 millimeters longer. Front towers, not a problem. Rear towers, you know I'm running through it in my head right now. I'm like, ooh, I'm thinking thoughts. I'm thinking Bruce does work. More miles than anything else in the fleet. He gets run guaranteed at least 1 day a week. Baseline, even though he's a tire test guy, might go a couple weeks before he touches rocks. Bruce trailblazes. Is that a tiny cactus? Oh, is it spiky? Yes, it is. Bruce does work. So basically what I'm running through my head right now is, am I willing, as I stand here before you right now, drilling holes in the frame, not a problem. Am I willing to cut 2 holes through the floor in the back? Because in the back right now, I've been thinking about, we're going to take his body apart because there is somewhere in interface between the roof right there. See that? We might have pulled a screw. This door is also, that door is not shut. Oh. We've got to tend to some of this. That tumble, I'd also like to tuck these wires down, even if it just be via hot glue. He's got some, nice rock. He's got some work that need be done to the body. I don't know if the light's passing through. Yeah, there you go. The windshield is supposed to seal down against the bottom, and it's really not. I don't know if it's tweaked. Oh man, Colin is a mess. In the back, we use that location, second battery storage. Now, if we get rid of the jump seats, 4 screws to remove the jump seats, because I just have them folded up. You can see them through the windows. They look kind of cool folded up. But if we remove the jump seats, we can put a battery storage right up there. That will just open up all of the space to cut a hole for a shock tower. Honestly, I feel like I've talked myself into it already. And because we don't need shock angle adjustment at all, because if anything, when we put these shocks on, the only thing we're hoping to do is to stiffen up the rear and provide damping. So what I'm thinking is these TRX4 towers right here. Oh, I mean, do you see what I'm saying? That might be too high though. Look how tall that is. What was that, like 120s? To the middle hole, that's hundreds. To the lower hole, 95s. I mean, they'd be kind of perfect. Because I can also, they have this right here, I can make a brace. Even if we just, ooh, you're inside the thoughts pavilion right now. Can I fit a rod end? we can make a tower bar that goes across. Oh, ooh, the thoughts are flowing. But it would really be optimal if these were just, I mean, you just do a +5 on this rod end and that turns it into a 95. I don't have anything in hundreds. I just mounted my one set of hundreds. Wait, what are these chavs? I'd much rather run GTS than chavs. But that is a 95. Oh, it would just perfectly clear. It's completely out of frame. It would just perfectly clear. And I can put a longer rod end on one end and turn it into 100. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hope that my right calf does not complete the cramp that it's trying to start on me right now. I will ponder over tower fitments whilst I am cutting up. We've got the big bar for the bumper that we have to cut to width. We've got the piece for the receiver that we have to cut to width. I've got to find myself a small piece of L. I think I have 1 inch. I think I have 1 inch angle. It's fairly thin wall, but it does not need to be robusto. It just needs to be solid and go that width, which is, can you give me some metric on this? 72 to 74 millimeters. What are we between rails? 72 millimeters. So we need about a 72 millimeter piece. And we need to cut us a piece of Delrin so that we can cut those down on the table saw to fit the bumper mount. All right, we fudged it. We absolutely fudged it, which is, I looked at where there's a curve. The back of the body has a curve. You see the little curve right down right there? I went to that curve, even though knowing that I want this out there. I want it out behind because we need to get the sweeper guy and we need to get the fuel tanks on it, because that's the whole reason that we're in the early midst of a 5-hour plus process. It is, I believe, 1 inch, looks like 16th wall. Is that 16th wall? 16th wall, 1.62 millimeters. And did I cut it to the right length? 75. I eyeballed it. So that is a little long, which is nice, because what I'm going to do is there are 2 screws through the grill. I'm just going to make some little out with the Dremel, and then I'll taper these in to fit rails. And then we'll drop it in. We'll drill up through the bottom through this. And I might make a plate that goes on here with the lock nuts over it, or we'll just use flanged lock nuts. We might just use flanged lock nuts, but we've cut this big guy, which will obviously not retain this height. We'll probably try to maintain some consistency, so we'll go about that inch. So we'll cut this down to about 1 inch. Well, we'll see, because we've got to work in baby steps with that, and I think I'm committed to, pardon me, Bruce, finding the new one. I'm just doing the thing like a dog with this spinner. I will probably cut them off all the way in here. Then we will delicately sand off that rib. Or, yes, we will sand off that rib. We will steal the lenses off of this one. Everybody gets to contribute. And then we will taper the bumper down and fit these to the outside of it like that. Now, my only concern there is that, ooh, that calf is coming for me, is that these are designed, as you can see, to fit right up in there, and they're going to be out there like, nah, it doesn't look too weird. It doesn't look too weird. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. And this time around, we're going to hot glue the taillights in. And we may, indeed, are those 3s? We might dig the bins, find the threes. I've already committed to the fact that this is going to take multiple days. He might have a mandatory Wheelin' Wednesday off duty because he's going to look like this. You can see every time Bruce hits the bench, what a mess. I should have started whiteboard because this is out of hand. I did also cut this. This is overly wide, but honestly, once that gets cut down, we'll round that bottom off. It just has to have a hole with a 3mm because the ball on the trailer just has a screw that goes through it. I would love, instead of using the screw, put a long screw up through the bottom with a thumb nut on it. Thumb nut would be great. Do I have a 3mm thumb nut? Maybe. Can I order one? Absolutely. Can I make one? Probably. We will find out one way or the other how that is going to shake out. So there's that guy, which will go on that guy. Those will all be carved up. It is another one of those. You have what? You have additive art like ceramics, and then you have reductive art like lathe work or sculpture and stuff like that. We're definitely into reductive art on that because we're gonna cut this up and throw 95% of it away. And before we cut it up and throw 95% of it away, I've got to go to the table saw and cut a big hank of the real deal Mitsubishi Chemicals Advanced Materials Delrin Rectangular Bar Black. This is 2 years old. 7/18/24. I just bought this. They made this 2 years ago. So what I did was I went to the table saw, and in that moment, I had a little bit of incidental learning. I don't know if it shows. It does. You see that? Do you see that? Yeah. It's the mount. Here's what I saw when I was looking at it on the table saw. 858, and now watch as we slide it down. These are, for whatever reason, tapered. And they're tapered both ways. Okay, FMS. Jeez-a-loo. I've been working on this stuff for a hot minute, and I mean this platform, we've worked on the 1941 Willys, the Atlas, everybody except the Mashigan. The Mashigan is, I even had a Jimny here. The Mashigan is the only one that hasn't been here, but they are all common in terms of gearbox transfer case, rails, axles, all of those bits. So we're making this one into, this is Bruce, we're making him into a canyon guy. And he gets a little more canyon guy with every passing one of these potential fiascos. So when I saw that was tapered, I set the table saw to 8mm. I have a push block, just an old piece of plywood that has this little guy, because I want to say this is for Kydex. That is the thickness of my sheets of Kydex. That's why it's got all the Land of 1,000 Cuts. Perfect for pushing those little stems. So I did them 8x8. Let's say you push her, and you do this. You go ready, and then you across the blade because your hand gets to go right over the blade, and you're cutting a little 8x8. And then because of the taper, we take it over to the disc sander, and we do a little. It looks like a lathe cutter. And then you write on it, so because we know that they're going to be handed. This is the right side. The arrow goes forward. Where's our dude? We have to remember it doesn't go that way. It goes that way. And then this is the right side. And 8x8 is snuggity buggity. And look at that little guy, just nice and tight. We're not going to drill the holes in that yet. And while you're going to make one, you just keep jumping back and forth from one to the other. And I think I've left enough. I cut these, and then after I cut them, I got the caliper out, and I measured the distance of embedment. How much is open out here? It's 23mm between here and here. So I know I need an additional 7, so I need about 30mm out in order to keep the bumper out clear so that we can put pivot so that we can put Pivety Man on it. Pivety Man is very likely going to be off to one side. Like, my goal, loosely, is to have it all the way out here at the end. Like that. Maybe that way? I don't know, because I just noticed all this stuff. Notice all this, the mount. Okay, we don't want to interfere with that mount. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We are absolutely playing it by ear, because fabrication be fabrication. And I just had another thought. What if we have a tab and it's like this on the face, or from the top? Do we want it from the top, or do we want it from the face? Because if it's from the face, let's sit about there, and the fuel cells would go on like that, and then the whittle. Then I would commit whittle wadder. If we're gonna do spare, it's got to go from the top. My goal is to not have to remake this. I spent $28 on the bumper that is not going to work on this vehicle at all, but I can easily reuse this part on something else. So I feel okay about that. I would love the look of a spare tire on the back of this. I already know it. Even if the wheel doesn't match, if none of that stuff matches. Wait. It'd have to be on that side, right? But then we can't see the license plate. Man! We could move the license plate, take whatever sacrificial rim we mount, whatever the tire is. It just needs to be something that looks reasonably similar. We can do Jeep style, put the rear view, put a license plate mount on the back of the tire. I don't know. This is where, look at the mess. This is where playing it by ear comes back to bite me almost every time. Almost every time. So now what I need to do is I need to, like, as I was cutting this stuff, I was thinking what I was thinking was we should clean up Bruce. Jeez. Oh, that was a concern. Yep. The holes in that are ever so slightly smaller than the holes in that. Because I can't even get those in. Oh, no. That is back to the table saw. But this time we're in a place, man. That is 8.1. That is 8.1. And then vertically 7.4. Okay. That's basically a different part. And it is. Because this doesn't have the leaf mount integrated into it. And this one does. This is the one that comes in the leaf kit. Is that why the bumper is so hard to fit? Like, yeah, past that, you've got to lean on it to get it in. So, vertically, they are far too thick, which means, where did they go? And these were perfect. Oh my goodness. Did you see how perfect they were? Like, I was so happy with myself. There's no gap around that. Oh, man. But that's, as they say, that's on me, because I operated from a foolhardy assumption that this piece and that piece would just be the same piece. And boy, are they not. Also, look at the depth of recess, or lack of depth of recess on that one. And then look at the depth of recess on that one. These are all FJ40 parts, man. But we've definitely got some differences. Oy vey. Sometimes it helps to... I woodworked it, man. I woodworked it so hard. Now I'm not even sure we're going to get a bumper on here. I'm not even sure. I can only make one pass at a time. And this side is against the fence, so it rubs off the L and R pretty easily. Basically, nothing sticks to Delrin. It is resistant to everything. We can only make a single pass at a time. Oh, not even close. Because I would just take this to the table saw with me. It's much easier. Yeah, we're at 8 millimeters even vertically. And we need, I mean, that says 8 millimeters even vertically. But, heck no. Heck no! So these are effectively handed in both directions now. There is a left and a right, and there is an up and a down. That is way too tight. That is way too, oh no. Oh no! Screwdriver? We call this, you've heard me mention it before, it's called woodworkering it, which is, I mic'd that hole, and it's like 8.02 millimeters, and that is 8.05. So it's plastic. Yes, it will fit, technically, but it doesn't wanna. In the full spirit of my growing affection for 3D printing, and those of you who know me will know he doesn't mean it. I last made an adjustment, and by adjustment to the table saw, I mean where you get underneath. The part that holds the motor and the blade, the assembly, is called the trunnion. When you get onto the trunnion, what you're doing is you're truing the trunnion both in XY, basically. Up and down is taken care of. It only rises up and down. It's a machine piece. But it will tilt this way. So you need to get the blade as parallel to the fence as you can. You have adjustments on the fence, and you have adjustments on the trunnion. I made an adjustment to the trunnion on that, I want to say 2016. 2016 or 2017. So it would have been seven or 8 years ago. 8 or 9? Yes, 7 or 8 years ago. And I haven't adjusted it since. My table saw is not a precision instrument. We are not building pianos around here. So if you take an 8-foot long piece of stock and you set the fence to 4 inches and you run that across the blade, there will be about a 1/16 of an inch of run out over 8 feet. I am perfectly fine with that because, as you can see, I'm cutting something that's about 75 millimeters long. I'm cutting a piece that's 80 millimeters long. The run out on 80 millimeters is going to be slightly smaller than the run out on, well, now I'm wondering, 2,438 millimeters. So I don't have to worry about it so much. A 3D printer has to be adjusted every time you want to turn the thing on, or at least it has, in my experience, that is still way too tight. Now, what a table saw doesn't particularly care for is trying its very best, I'm doing my very best, it says, to remove 0.25, a quarter of a millimeter off of this. The blade is 5 millimeters wide, 4 millimeters wide. The blade's about 4 millimeters wide. We're trying to just shave this thing. And we are really, well and truly, when you take Delrin across a table saw, especially if it has a nice sharp blade like mine does, it will give you an edge. If you run your thumb across it, it will, as we say in the profession, open you up. So every time we do that, because we've got to yank this thing out because some guy is woodworkering it, because I don't want bumper waggle. The waggle of that front knuckle's killing me. We'll figure it out. Okay, and Bosh. Bosh. Oh my God, the fitment. Who makes, on purpose, a tapered bumper mount? Like who does that? And now what we've got to do, I'm lift whapping. Yeah, that is near future me's problem. Yeah, I just knocked that in with my tiny hammer. Tiny hammer to the unrescue. There we are, and we have got. There ain't no daylight in those. We ain't getting a wiggly bumper off of that. It's rapidly occurring to me that we can't work in this order. I would love to just start drilling holes in that bumper, but I think you all see it. I think you all recognize what's happening. In order to set that bumper, we need to have the body back on it. And in order to put the body back on it, we have to drill holes in it and mount rear shock towers to it so that we can run 90mm shocks on it. All right, this point is moot, but we're going to do it anyway. Element towers are definitely shorter than TRX4 towers. That's probably dead 90. That's probably dead 90. And we'll be able to line it up. Oh, man. No, that's a little tilty back. Let's flip it and see what it looks like. Because if we're going to put towers, if we're going to mount towers to the bottom of this thing, oh, and we have nothing, is there no impediment? There is no impediment. We can put a brace between these two. I will cut a spacer, like something like this. We'll cut a spacer and then have both of these shocks threaded into that. The hope with that, you'd be like, why? Just put lock nuts on it. Yeah, that's one thing. I don't like having to try to reach into a C-channel to get to those. If we thread it into both, if one starts to come loose, the hope is that the whole thing will just kind of rotate. There is also the option of, follow me here, use a long set screw, like a 25mm set screw, and basically make a turnbuckle that lives, or a suspension link that lives inside the rails. So we got threads coming out, and then the shocks can be retained with lock nuts. Because do I worry about stuff like this backing out and a shock falling off when I'm on the trail? Yeah, 100% all the time. I am going to measure this, though the point is moot, because I had a violent realization mere moments ago. That screw is probably important. Let's see what lines up better. This way. Hole to the back. Yeah, it's 90. It's 90. It's just dead 90. Now, we would like that to sit down a little farther, which is 93. So a 90 would actually pull the leaves up a little bit. We do have the opportunity, because what occurred to me is this. If we run a taller tower, like this bad boy, where's the rest of them? I have a bunch of these TRX4 towers. I have like 2 more bags of these. Yes. Run that guy like that. Bam. Probably right there. Ooh. Ooh, hold on. Wait. Get a horse. Get a horse and hold it. I think if we run the towers this way, we're only drilling one hole. And the ability to use an existing hole fills me with a degree of excitement. That looks pretty straight up and down. Because when I was looking through the bins, I realized, what do I have in somewhat great number? And the answer to that is, yes, you guessed it, 10 pros. What length are 10 pros? You already know what length they are. They're 100s. So let us just loose fit this right now. Right now. Yeah, that tower is so tall. Oh, it would be so perfect. You'd need high trails almost. You like 110s. Let me see if give me a. I need like a 14. This'll do. I just want to see. I don't want to, like, I can feel myself pulling the axle up. I don't want to pull the axle up. I just want to get that loose fit. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's so good. Oh my goodness. Okay. So look at that 100 straight up and down. Now that tower will punch a fairly decent sized hole. Not really. Maybe not. Ooh, we've got, oh, this feels like a burning garbage fire. That feels amazing. And it's not even bolted together properly. It adds that right in here. It's just all leaf. And then when you start to pick up that spring, that's only a 1 pound spring. Oh, it feels so good. You can see that thing flopping over. You can see that, what do they call that, wrap? There's nothing we can do about the wrap, though. That feels outstanding. Those 10 Pros have not been rebuilt. They need to be longer, or the tower needs to be shorter. Unfortunately, there is no way around that. Okay, hold on. I made promises. I made promises that I'm not delivering on. You're going to, if you're still here, God bless. We're going to get nothing done. Nothing. Because it occurred to me rather quickly that Bruce is going to require some genuine attention. I mean, it started off as, I know that we need to fix his front end, and I know that I want to mount up. I just saw this hole right here. It doesn't line up to anything. Now, we're looking at hundreds or 110s at this point. I mean, I am definitely one to make more work for myself. I feel like I less than secretly love it. Oh my goodness. How well does that line up? Oh, not quite. Okay, I need to let go of the notion of lining up to the existing hole. It's not a problem. This is a TRX, this is a Defender stock tower. And it's got the little guy that is matched to the frame rail. Look at this. It just sits right on the frame. Oh my God. So what does that tell me? That tells me, dig. Wait, no, yes, dig. Oh, what is that distance? What is that distance? Oh, it's 100. Oh, it's 100. And what that means, for those unaware, is there's only one force which can stop us now. Am I willing to yeah, these guys are, oh! I can probably put these on my Marlin. They won't go to waste. They won't go to waste. The only thing that can stop us, nothing can stop us now, is angle. If they're not leaning out like this, and they might be, what is this lean angle going to look like? Oh, I want this. Oh, I also have the Deluxe Vanquish specific offset rod ends specifically for double shear Vanquish axles. I ordered a bunch of them because I have a bunch of them. That will thread in just like that. We'll just get it finger tight, and then we will pivot this guy. I think we need a 22. 22! I believe that is what Traxxas uses. Comes in from the back. This shock could be 2 millimeters longer. And to do that, you just dial the rod end out about 2 millimeters. Oh my goodness. Okay. What's that angle look like? Okay. It is tipped. That is pigeon-toed by like 2 millimeters. It would probably stand straighter. Please focus. Focus, thank you. It would probably stand straighter if we were on the, I think these are Benedict Harry's, these, because it would draw it in a little bit. Yes, it would indeed. But these are perfectly set at 100 millimeters. We can mock it up, slide this to where we like it. I like it right about there. Or should we just stand it straight up and down? How does straight up and down feel? Straight up and down just like that. Too close to the rear hole, I agree. So we would split the difference. We'd make our marks on this side and then copy the marks to the other side so that we get it straight across. Look at that. Look at that. Who else's FJ's running hundreds? Oh, I love that. And we pop the one off in the front because this is another rear tower. I need to find a pile of front towers. Uh-oh. Alloy towers. 3 holes. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I don't like that. That is... Look at that. Look at that wafer action. But we do have the big... So I'm not worried about it. We've got the big screws. We've got the big convex washers. We've got the big load spreader washers. Let's see what this would look like. Oh yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy, and here's why. Because we put that on just like that. We slide this through. We get it threaded in a little bit. I think this one runs a 20 instead of a 22, but a 22 is probably fine. We slide that to right about there, and we've got more drop, and that's the upper hole. That's the upper hole. So these only go down. So that is the guy. That's the guy for the rear, right there. Boom. I love how this, however, I love how it wraps. I love how it wraps to the frame. Oh, I got in the bins and I found a couple shock towers. I want that one. Because we want to line up. We'll have to, a little Dremel shave. This side came up because it used to have the motor bracket. This side won't have that clearance problem. We'll just Dremel that off flat. Then this would sit right about here. And then we've got from mount to eye 110 in the front, which means we just move the shock from the lower hole to the upper hole because they are 10 millimeters apart. And do you see that hole? Do you see that screw right there? Well, you should turn your attention. You're gonna need a 12 now. I did not anticipate mounting hundreds on this. Just think on it with me, if you will. The sheer amount of stuff that we have generated, the stuff that need to be done, it hurts. I am actively trying not to think about, is that lock nutted? Yes. I am actively trying not to think about how much work I've created for myself. Now I am absolutely thrilled that previously 10 Pro, 10 Pro. That I previously did not mount the fenders, because that would just generate that much more work. I need a TRX4 specific. Now these will be replaced. These are plated steel. I have brass. I have brass ends for these, and I would far prefer to run the brass ones, particularly for the corrosion resistance. Trying to get pivot ball installed so that we can mock up this one in the front. Probably need another 22. Bruce did not know that he was coming into the lab. No, that's going to be like a 25 or a 27. And then on the lower, we will go to a 20 with a lock nut. We're gonna belt and suspender the life out of this thing, because I want his next round in the lab to be purely, he needs a clean and a service, topping off the fluids and whatnot. It just, is that straight? Is that straight up and down? If that's not straight up and down, it looks close enough as to absolutely approximate straight up and down. How much angle on the shock? Oh my goodness. So the differential, now we have plenty of room on the axle. Look at this. I think the kingpin is just backed out like a lot. So we will address that as well. We'll also investigate and see how clean those are looking. Oh, steering flipped over. There we go. So we can space the bottom of the shock out. That's the problem. It's not that the tower's out too far. It's that the bottom of the shock is in too far. So we can space that out, and that tower will work just like that. And then, a little bit of Dremel in my life, we will just carve this up so that it fits. We'll basically turn it into an element front fender from like a Sendero. So I will cut into this so that it fits over it, and then we'll fit together. And if he's good enough and he manages to get it right, we will have basically, it will basically be sealed-ish under the hood, because we'll get a lot less debris kicked out into there. On the one hand, I apologize. On the other hand, I don't, because welcome aboard. If you weren't ready, prepare yourself, because this is basically cameras rolling for what I would be doing in this situation. This is the modus operandi here. This is how we start. Bruce is going to be, he's going to look almost exactly the same when we're done. We'll throw a little bit more scale stuff on the roof. We'll clean him up. We'll get him put together. But underneath, oh, he's going to be a smooth criminal. Rocking 10 Pros. Look at that. Look at that lean. Haroop. We will also, you know, I'll get to take care of some stuff on my own, which is like little stuff. Is there more angle on that? Do I have 2 more of these? No, I have like 5 more. The additional holes, baby. Do they have the same tilt? You can see that the holes just go lower, which is the way we want them to go. Oh yeah. So he's getting the metal towers all the way around, but not that one. He needs the other one. He needs the one that's thrown back like that. Gonna go right off that hole. That'll go right there. Yeah. Ooh, that pre-existing hole is so close to this one. Might end up having to do 2 new holes like that, similar to how we're going to do it in the back. I'm not opposed to drilling 1 additional hole in the frame. We're going to give him an extra leaf in the back. He's going to get all 4 of these towers mounted, bolted, belted, suspendered, and then another belt over the first belt. We're going to get these anchored, absolutely anchored and tied in. We're going to cut into the front fenders and mount the inner fenders. We're going to cut into the body in order to clear the hundreds in the rear. We're going to make a tower bar that is attachable. So we'll set the body down, then the tower bar will go in. We'll have to heat gun all of the Velcro out of the back of this body, and then we'll run the spare battery right behind the camera mount. We may redo the camera mount. I mean, we're already here. I've been considering moving the camera over so that it's a little bit more... No, we're going to leave it in the middle. How about when we meet again in the next installment of this, little whiteboard will be out, and all of the things that need be done will be on little whiteboard, and we'll just go down the list, and we'll make an agreement with ourselves that we will confine ourselves on this service interval to what's on the whiteboard. Otherwise, he's going to be out of commission for a month as we just change everything. This was 2+ hours, and I got nothing but ideas. We're gonna do some... No, that's not true. I made these, and I did some rough cuts on some pieces. Next time around, I have no idea. I don't know what we'll do. We'll definitely get underway. I may come out and start tinkering without you, and you'll pick you up a little bit in the middle. I have not made that determination yet. We're going to get him going. He's not going to have the Bilsteins anymore, much as I love the look of them. They will go on something else. I'll find something that'll run 70s. I could put him on Nigel. Hey, we can throw him on Nigel. Because Nigel is not going to become second Bruce. That is that is the goal that I made for myself. If we can get the winch hooked up, we'll get the winch hooked up. We're going to clean up this wiring. We're going to do... I would love to say all of the things, but we're going to do 1 or 2 of the things in the next installment. I realized that I have 2.5 sets of 10 Pros. So he is going to get 10 Pros. And worst case scenario on the 10 Pros, I can Magilla drilla the holes out in the pistons and run 3000 CST, 5000 CST, and make them effectively leak-proof. The 10 Pros don't really leak at the cap if you're lucky enough to assemble them to where they don't leak at the cap. They do leak from the seal a little bit, but we're going to run them upside down no matter what. This guy does hard service. He's going to the 7 channel. He's losing. Come on back. We have so many things to address. We now have a number of things to fabricate. We'll do all those things, just not... we've got to fix the steering wheel. We've got a lot of things to do, and we're just not going to do them all at once. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for coming along into the thought processes of the Canyon. I will see you in the next one, whatever that might be. More of Bruce, more of the other things. Thank you for joining us today. Come back and see us next time. In between now and when we meet again, please, one and all, do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you again here from the Canyon, hopefully real soon. Bruce might not be back together for a little bit.